Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special live broadcast, a year in review 2022 for MOSHAPE. I am your host, Chris Stehle, the chair of marketing communications with MOSHAPE. I'm very excited for tonight as we have so many special guests that are joining us. We're going to have an awesome lineup as they reflect on what 2022 meant to them. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on our very first guest, a very special guest, our past president, Anna Forsalito. Anna, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am doing great. We're a day and a half, 2 days away from the new year of 2023. 2022 was a big year for you as you were the president during 2022. And I'm really just excited to hear, it was a big year. There's a lot of things that happened. And the first thing I kind of want to talk about is in February was the Shape America Leadership Summit. And can you share with the audience what that was like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And by the way, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. This is very exciting. I know we're rounding up the year, and it's been definitely a very exciting year. So the Leadership Summit was the opportunity for the the president-elect and the president, and the executive director. So Tom Lowry, Guy Danoff, and myself, we all were invited to go to the Leadership Summit and not only be a part of it, but we were asked to present there at the same time to talk about the top tricks and trends that were most successful for us for promoting in social media and digital media. And that was a really amazing opportunity for all of us to do as a group and to represent MOSHAPE as we continue to zag, as I'm sure Guy will say later on. But one of the things that we really did talk about is how can we continue at the leadership convention? How can we continue to create unity and make Shape America as amazing as it is and continue to move forward with it, and for us to collaborate our efforts with people all across Shape America and all the different state affiliates, but also people that are directly connected, organizations and companies that are directly connected to it, in order to advocate for our profession even more, and to know that we're all doing this together and we are all one, and we're obviously stronger together, whatever you want to call it. But it was just a really powerful opportunity for us to come together as leaders, to share ideas, to see how can we continue to advocate for our profession, and the future and the road that Shape America is going on is amazing, and it's going to be one where everyone is going to feel like they're heard and seen and valued, and they're really doing some powerful things and have created such an impact already, not only this year, but for next year to come too.
Awesome. Thank you. And speaking of February, I mean, it was a busy year for you in 2022, but staying in February, you also had Virtual Speak Out Day. Explain to the audience what that was like, a virtual Speak Out Day, and all that you were involved with that.
So Virtual Speak Out Day, this is something that we have had the opportunity to do for the past 2 years. I had the opportunity part of it, and it ended up being virtual because of COVID, unfortunately. But we were able to reach out to leaders to Congress people and leaders in our state, and to get meetings with them essentially in order to advocate for our profession. And advocacy in this form is the advocacy at the highest level with policymakers. This is where things really happen, and we got to just I want to say advocate because I'm repeating myself, but we really just got to share our story and to tell the policymakers and Congress people what we are doing and why health and physical education is the most important profession, and to receive funding. There are 2 different types of funding. We were looking for Title II Part 2A and Title II Part 2. And so they were very receptive. Every single one that we spoke with, we had a very powerful team. Guy Danoff, myself, and Brandy Lynch were a part of it this year, and it was very, very successful, I feel, and just continuing to use our voices and to show people, because that's what we have to do. We have to use our voices, and we have to show people what and why we are the most powerful profession and the most important profession.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And, a lot of things happened between February and November, right? But as a president, we've talked, Anna, we've talked a lot, and we may get a little emotional here with you because I know how much November meant to you. November rolls around, right? And it's convention time, a year's worth of work you've put into your presidency, and then a year of president-elect, and just all the time and effort you put into MOSHAPE. It kind of comes to fruition, right? It's here in November. And kind of explain to the audience, I mean, this is your time, to reflect and just share what was your favorite parts of the convention. And, sharing our story 2022 was the theme. And just kind of share with the audience what that meant to you.
Well, this is our story. And just like I talked about with Speak Out Day, and thank you for asking, Chris. And just like I said with Speak Out Day, and like we talked about the Leadership Summit, this is the collective impact of all of our voices working together to share our story. Because as in our education, we have to be the ones to share our story as physical educators and health educators, because if we don't do it, someone else is. And we have got this incredible story of the voices of, and it's not just my voice, it's all of us collectively together, from students to teachers to leaders to superintendents to administrators, we're very to families and communities, it's all of their collective voices, and including their sponsorships. It's our relationships with them that we created. And that was such a powerful thing that happened this past year, is creating that relationship with those sponsorships, and it opened up so many things that I'm sure that guy will talk about in a little bit later for next year. But for this year, it was really forming those relationships with them, bringing them into it, and making them feel, being intentional about that they feel valued and seen and heard as part of this process and part of this whole profession, because they are, and they play a vital role. And, I'm over here, I'm talking about the sponsors, but if I think about, the journey and getting here and about the convention, I have my board right in front of me and I'm looking at it, and I can't even say how many times, like how many hours I spent just staring at that board to make it right. It was all a journey to put it all together. Chris, you and I have been on camera with MOSHAPE sharing your story sneak peeks throughout the year. Our first one was in June. And it just went all throughout the year to then, just pumping it up to Zach Talk Media podcasts, to, the different types of ways that we did most the social media and video bumpers. And it's just so much. There's so much that went into this, so many blood, sweat, tears, and everything in between, But I think I can't say there's one thing in particular. How it all came together, the relationships that we were able to build, the energy that was there. We brought coffee talks to the convention this year, which had never been done before. We had 32 sponsors that were there this year, and I never have seen that exhibit hall so full before. But everyone, the energy, the vibe, the experience that everyone had, that was able to have the talks. I mean, you and I talked about how people were, talking about, okay, you go to this session and I'll go to this session and we'll meet up in the middle, and that's what it's about, because there's so much excitement. And, it's like, we're back, right? Like, we're back and we're all together doing this. And it was just a really phenomenal feeling to see. So many times I would go in and out of different sessions and or step into the exhibit hall, and I'd tear up. I'm sure people saw me tear up multiple times, because I just had no words to describe what I was feeling. That's just, we really brought something phenomenal together. And it's something that all of us worked so hard, and I'm very, very proud and humbled by what we all created. It's just really empowering. It's just an incredible experience. I don't know. Like I said, there's so many times I just don't have words for it, because it was all of a labor of love and passion of why we're doing this. Why sharing our story, why we are in this profession. And that's what the convention was. It was sharing that every single moment of the whole entire weekend.
Well, Anna, I will say, 2022, we wouldn't have got through it without you. And, we have a great team. I think, you mentioned we a lot, but we owe you a lot of gratitude. And, it was a great convention. I'm sure we're all excited to see what comes for 2023. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll bring you back on here in a little bit. So Anna, congratulations on a great 2022, and hopefully you have a great New Year's celebration. We'll talk to you here in a little bit.
Thanks, Chris, so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. So that was Anna Forcelito, our past president, with a reflection of 2022 for her, a very, very busy year. I'm going to bring on another very special guest. He doesn't really need an introduction, but I feel like I don't do him any justice. I feel like the broadcaster for the Los Angeles Lakers should be bringing him in, but he's our very own executive director, Dr. Tom Lowry. Doc, how you doing this evening?
Very well. Great to be on here with you and the others, Chris.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Doc, 2022, another year in the books. You've been doing this for a really long time. What is something you took out of 2022 that you appreciated?
Well, Chris, I have to give plaudits to our leadership team, especially the committee chairs who have stepped up and done so many wonderful things. And I think in reflecting back, we went through the COVID year with no convention. We went through the 2021 year trying to rebuild. We came into 2022 knowing that we had to rebuild, and especially financially, because of the expenses and the reduction in the investment account. We had to do some things to get back to stabilize. But yet, we're never about stabilizing. We're all about growing upward and outward. And we were able to accomplish a lot of things during this year and put in place more for the coming year that is going to be terribly exciting because of the groundwork that has been laid. I have to reach out to all the members of the social media committee and especially look at what they accomplished, not only with our presence in Shape NOLA, with so many people doing incredible camera work and interviews and things like that. And the one thing that I tell all the time is that we've got to be more than a convention organization. And I think that we're beginning to see where we can say we've almost achieved that. Not saying the convention isn't important, but to engage members with multiple platforms in ways that are appropriate and helpful to them, and get more people really actively pursuing our mission. We made good progress on that this year. We have a ways to go, but the plans are in place to take it to even higher levels. So the media team, spectacular. No question about it. We were able to stabilize, and now we reset and we move forward. So to me, it's been a good year with a lot of key people doing wonderful things.
Well, Doc, thank you so much. We wouldn't, I'll speak behalf on the media team as I am the chair. We wouldn't be who we are without your support and, your trust. And Tom, we're going to keep you on because we're going to bring on another special guest. I've got to get used to this introduction, Doc, because I've always kind of introduced him as somebody else with different titles. But this is my first time officially welcoming him on a live show as our MOSHAPE president. No one other than Guy Danhoff. Guy, how are you doing this evening?
Chris, I'm having the time of my life. It is great being back here with the MOSHAPE family. There's no school, at least for another few days. So I've enjoyed the last 2 days or 2 weeks off, time with family and friends, and of course, my MOSHAPE family. So I'm doing really well, Chris.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. So we just heard from Anna Forcelito, our past president, a few moments ago. In February, Guy and Tom, you were both also involved in the Shape America Leadership Summit. Guy, go ahead and start. What did that mean to you, and kind of share with our audience what that was about?
I think the biggest thing is I was certainly honored to be one of the presenters as we were, sharing some of the things that we do in media. But the bigger thing for me, Chris, as the president-elect, was actually learning as Shape America brought on some, guest speakers, and they had a chance to talk to us about, how we should be looking at our bylaws and codes, operating codes, and also, how to get more engagement out of our board, and and really how to make that a successful process, including onboarding, which is something we plan to do, obviously heading into 23, so that we can just have more seamless transitions. But I think in the end, and Anna kind of touched on this, it's really about how can we, take this organization, take our board of directors, and service the needs of our members at the highest level. So when I think about my experiences, basically it was like going to the woodshed and getting out the tools and really learning and refining our processes and our procedures and our protocols. And I'm sure Tom will speak to that, because that's a lot of what I got out of that experience.
Yes.
And Doc, what about you?
Yes. Again, Shape America started this leadership summit, and being there in person with national leaders and leaders from different states, where we talk about issues. Some of them are recurring issues.
Right.
We've gone beyond some of the recurring issues, and we're trying to plow new ground. And that's one of the things that I would say about MOSHAPE and the leadership that the conversations that Guy and I have every single day is we're not sitting on our hands. We're proud of what we've done, but we also see greater opportunities. And I think that Guy would agree that when we interact with these people at the leadership summit, that they see that there are good things happening in the state of Missouri, and we can take pride in that. But we're still not happy. Go higher and wider.
Doc Lowry, a man of a lot of wisdom. And, speaking of you two, in the month of February, you fast forward a little bit and it's virtual Speak Out Day. Obviously, Doc, you mentioned earlier in your introduction, here at MOSHAPE, we felt the backlash of COVID, right, and being virtual. So it was a virtual Speak Out Day. Guy, I'll let you start this one off. What was that like for you?
Well, what I think was so amazing, again, is how Shape America works with us and collaborates with us. They put us through a really good, overview training. And then obviously after that, it's time to then get to work. And Anna did a fantastic job as she, reached out to all the different folks that we needed to talk to within our state. And Brandy Lynch and I and Anna, we just had great meetings. And really, the big thing I would say is, in a lot of cases, and Tom can speak to this, in our state, at least, some of these things, the money's already there. Now it's a matter of trying to get them to appropriate it to our initiatives in health and physical education. And Tom can speak more to that. But all I can say is to Anna's point, we had really strong connections and the ability not just to share our story, but to also, show how we're, like Tom says, how we're growing, how we're innovating, and how we're trying to reach our members, and how we're trying to add more value to the schools and ultimately to our students in the state of Missouri.
Yes, Guy, and that's critically important. You mentioned about the money that's available through the ESSA Act, Every Student Succeeds Act, through Congress. This was a huge amount of money that goes directly to the state education associations, our DESE, and then they put it out to the various school districts. What our members need to do is to get on the planning committees for their school district, find out everybody, that's public access information, to go in and find out how much money is allocated to the school district,
right,
and then to be able to advocate and ask for your share of the money. And while the national advocacy through Speak Out Day is a wonderful experience and is generally very powerful, we also have to interact with our state legislators. And right now we've got a couple of them, I wouldn't say in our back pocket, because that means we're paying them, which we don't do. But no, they're listening to us.
Yeah.
And they're in a position now to introduce legislation and act appropriately to help us meet our mission. So advocacy has to start at the local level all the way up, but Speak Out Day is a great experience for everyone.
Yeah, and we'll get out. We'll talk about Speak Out Day a little bit more coming up in 2023 later on in the show. So, Guy and Doc, I'm going to have you guys hang on because we're going to fast forward a little bit into 2022, into April. And we all had a lot of fun in April. We all went down to New Orleans, and it was, I will say, it was my first time being in Louisiana, and my dad lived a lot of his life and actually born in Louisiana, believe it or not. He claims he's an Oklahoma boy, but I'll go first, and we're going to kind of share our experiences. Everybody that's here on our show tonight will get to chime in if they were at Shape NOLA. I'll go first. And then we'll kind of go from there. My experience at Shape NOLA, this is my second national convention. As you guys remember, back when St. Louis was able to host the last AFERD conference, because then they took over the Shape America name. And, it was just amazing to be, I mean, there's the New Orleans experience, right? And then there's the Shape America experience. So it's really cool. A great host city. Learned a lot, but my biggest thing, and I think two other people, maybe three other people that I asked this question to are going to agree. My favorite thing was just what MOSHAPE was able to do to help Shape America provide with their media stuff. And, just seeing all the things. Guy's I know what you're going to mention. I'm not going to take your thunder about the Twitter hashtag, but, I think just that and just seeing so many people from all over the country that are just as passionate as we are was really cool. So, Tom, what was your favorite part of Shape NOLA?
Well, I've got to be honest. I've attended so many of these. My first one was 1965, and
ouch!
I
wasn't even bored.
I was involved in a review of the national PE standards, but my greatest thrill this year was to see our MOSHAPE team supporting the media, the videos, the production for Shape America. And that's an incredible honor to see that. And because I've been involved in so many, because I'm not teaching, the sessions don't really seem to matter to me as much. But seeing friends and colleagues that I've known over the years, going back, oh my goodness, into the 70s and 80s. And so it's the connections with people. And that's one of the reasons I started going to Shape conferences, AFERD conferences. And the younger you are when you go and you establish these connections, they're lifelong. They're supportive. They elevate you, you elevate them. And that's really what it's all about. So you follow up on that, whether it be on social media or in other means. But to me, that's always a highlight because I have certain people that I either meet for lunch, dinner, or maybe a little red wine somewhere along the line. And they have that down in New Orleans as well. But again, I won't be attending too many more, but it's always an exciting time to meet up and share the energy. That's the important thing, to share the energy.
Guy, what about you? Favorite part about Shape NOLA hosted by Shape America?
Well, I'll start with the obvious one, Chris, and then I'll go into a couple of others, because you got to remember, it was a little different for me, because for those of you who may not know, ever since 2019, I have to give a massive shout out to Shape America CEO Stephanie Morris, as she gave me an opportunity back then at Shape Tampa to join their team every year for a convention. And usually about 4 to 5 months out, I serve as a digital media strategist with their entire marketing team, and as well as with, Joey Martelli and Carly Wright and Beth Bennett. And so I'm privy to all the planning that goes on, the marketing, and then what we're going to do during those 4.5 days. And the big thing that happened, that again, this is after 5 months of planning, And just, looking at the data, the Shape America data, as well as our own data, even data from Missouri Healthy Schools that I work with. But what was really extraordinary to me was we really wanted to build engagement like you couldn't believe. And we were able to do that so much that by midway through the third day of the convention, the Shape NOLA hashtag on Twitter was trending #1 in the entire city of New Orleans. Now, that's a feat I've never been part of before. It was extraordinary when the news broke. It actually broke. Joey texted to me actually while I was doing a session, actually, and basically, showing how we do media, the tools we use, things like that. But that was extraordinary, and we were trending not just on that third day, but also that fourth day. And what it says, it means that it wasn't so much what we put out; it was about creating the environment where lots of people that were attending the conference, or if you weren't attending a conference, there was so much energy and synergy, and people were posting, or to get technical, we call it user-generated content. And it got to the point where our profession was trending #1 for a few days during the convention. So that was by far my biggest highlight. But as the president-elect, my biggest highlight was going around with Anna, and we were just starting to do introducing our new sponsorship package. And we met for at least, I don't know, Tom, 15, 16 folks. And we had a pretty good sense of that when we got back, then we were going to finalize our sponsorship package and do some things that we've never done before, which is how could we possibly monetize our own media here in MOSHAPE to extend it out to our sponsors that you had a huge role in, because that's where we got into 6-second video bumpers that people were jumping on as early as May and June. And Chris, it was just an amazing process for those who jumped on those higher sponsorship levels. As Anna said, we went from 16 sponsors to 32, and it was just extraordinary, what happened with that. So anyways, from the president-elect side, I knew that was going to be a big role for me on that. And Tom kind of, encouraged us to do that. And of course, the board approved it. And that's how part of the reason where it started for us is we took advantage of beginning that networking and building relationship process.
Awesome. So I'm going to actually bring on a couple of other guests that nobody on the show has seen yet. And we're going to keep this short and brief because we want to be, make sure we're taking into consideration everybody's time. So our next guest, I have a better introduction for her later, but I'm just going to add her to the stream now. Our very own Julie Lukenhoff. Julie, I know you were at Shape NOLA because
I was
we were in the same hotel together. My hotel room wasn't quite like your luxurious queen castle you were in. But Julie, what was something that you enjoyed about Shape NOLA this year?
Well, of course, the networking with friends across the United States. I'm kind of right there with Tom on that one. But, I've always been proud to be from Missouri. But this year, when you have 3 teachers who were not only Missouri Teachers of the Year, but were Central District Teachers of the Year, who were then going for National Teacher of the Year, and for one of those to become a National Teacher of the Year, man, my shoulders got pulled back a little further back, and was a little prouder just to say, hey, we're from Missouri, and we showed them that we have great teachers here in our state. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to bring on one more person, then we're going to do one more. I got one surprise thing that we're about to do here, but our next guest, I'm going to bring her on a little differently later. I don't want to give away her title yet because that's part of later, but we're going to add Abigail Lingle, one of our future professionals here in Missouri, to the stream. Abby, you were at Shape NOLA as well as a future professional. What was the one thing that you enjoyed most about it?
I think one thing that I really have to enjoy most about piggybacking off everyone else is seriously the networking and the connections you meet with everyone. Like, you hear us preach it right now, but you don't really experience it until you get down there at nationals and you get to meet people. Like, I am part of a national group of other future professionals, and it was just absolutely amazing when I got down there how many people I already knew and felt like we've been friends for a long time, and we were just catching up. but it was just absolutely phenomenal. And that's the number one thing I love about SHAPE National Convention.
Awesome. And everybody actually on this video, if I'm, there was something that happened very special. And Guy, you and I actually were on the phone earlier today and we talked about this. And I don't think we shed enough light on it this year. So we're going to give this man his roses right now. And Tom does not like a lot of attention, but Dr. Tom Lowry, actually, while we were there, I had no idea. So I was just running around filming stuff for MOSHAPE. And I think it was actually Julie that says, you need to get in here right now. And I said, why? And she said, Tom is winning an award through Shape America's Central District. So I am not very caught up on that. So Julie, would you like to speak on what Tom won or like what it meant to Missouri for Tom to, I know this is completely off script here.
It is definitely off script. Well, it is a great award, and it was the it was the Harvey one, right?
Yes.
Mark Harvey.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Mark
want to
Harvey.
make sure of that. But that is a huge award, and we have 9 states that make up Central District, and you have to be nominated, and you have to have letters sent in support of you being eligible for this, but then also to recognize that you were there, and that is a huge honor. I apologize. I did not have the opportunity to ever know him personally. I think Tom, you did know him.
Absolutely.
Correct. And there are others around who have, but the stories that I have heard are just amazing, and what an amazing educator, and how Tom fits right there in his shoes is perfect. So
Well,
there could be no better person to win that award.
Well, thank you, Julie. And after knowing Mark and being involved in committee work with him at the national level, talk about the highest integrity, kindest, most generous person. He was taken from this earth far too early. And one thing about Shape NOLA, I had a wonderful travel companion on the flight down and back. And we were able to sneak in the convention or into the airport lounge for little free goodies. Right, Abby?
Yes, Tom, treat me right. I know how to fly from here on out.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. You guys are all going to pop back in here in a minute, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Tom, congratulations on the Mark Harvey Legacy Award that you won at Shape NOLA. I didn't want to say it, but that probably was my top moment being there. I just wanted to wait until everybody got to say, just me not knowing that was happening. And I'm just sitting there like filming some stuff for MOSHAPE and Shape America. And I get told, get in this room, right? I just happened to be there, right? And it literally, Tom, it brought a tear to my eye because and that's genuine. You've done so much for all of us here, and we congratulate you and appreciate all you've done.
Thank you.
So, Julie and Abby, you will be back on here in a moment. We're going to go ahead and see you guys in a little bit. So, Tom, we'll see you in a little bit as well. So enjoy your break. So now it's Guy and I. We're sitting here. Guy, we've covered a lot in this show, but we got to get rolling here. We're kind of halfway through the year here almost. May rolls around, right? And Drew Burris has his field day, which is the Ghostbusters theme, right? And it gets Drew Burris gets national attention for his field day. You were able to be there. Just really quickly for the audience in about a minute or two, explain what that was like.
You know, Chris, he puts in over a year of planning for every year. This year, the focus was on Ghostbusters. The year before, I was there too and filmed, and that was on Walt Disney with a theme on Frozen, right? And what Drew does is he has an uncanny ability to get the whole school. I literally mean the whole school to support him, to come out, whether you're an administrator or you're a teacher, doesn't matter what subject you teach, but everyone comes together. They all wear the shirts that he has made. And I got to tell you, this year when he did Ghostbusters, Chris, he had the actual vehicle that they had in the movie there. He had people there that dressed like they were off a Hollywood set, you know, being in character. Photo sessions like you couldn't believe. The 9 different stations that he had. It just was so much fun to see the excitement and fun with the kids, but also with the people that he works with. Even he got listen to this, Chris, he got the fire department to come out, and not because there was an emergency. He was spraying, he had the kids spray. They actually gave him the hose down his kids. They gave him the hose. No, I mean, Chris, I don't know what else I can possibly say, but I mean, he's like a legend when it comes to field days. You know, he knows how to get the kids excited, engaged. It's fun. But what I saw most importantly was the community rallying around that event. And what an amazing event. And that's why, you know, Drew, not only was he our teacher of the year for elementary in 2021, but the other thing I'm just going to say is that just for me, it's something that's an annual event, because when we were pitching ideas for On the Move, I said we need to do a special edition On the Move there, because what he has done is so unique and special, and the support he gets from his community and from his administration is second to none.
Yeah, and shout out to Drew for that. I got to give him a shout out because, I mean, he's part of the media team as well. So
yeah,
congratulations, Drew, on another great field day. And real quickly, as we know, Guy, people could chime in live on YouTube. And check this out. This is kind of unique, right? We have somebody that's on the show, but somehow she's also on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
Abigail Legal, who was just on, says Tom is the best. He deserves all the awards possible. That is correct. Tom Lowry. I'm going to get a tattoo that just says I love Tom. Like, instead of, you know, the heart tattoos
yes.
that say Tom in them, I'm not going to get mom. It's going to say Tom.
There we go.
And get a heart Tom tattoo.
Hey, Chris, one side story that I want to point out about that award after he won it, because I actually shot the first photo of him with the plaque, put it out. Chris, there were so many people that came up to me that were explaining to me who, you know, Mr. Harvey is. And once I got a chance to do that, we did a whole show. Tom and I did a show, and we were able to really explain the life and legacy that Mr. Harvey left for everybody in this profession, and then why it's so fitting that Tom was able to earn it or win that award this year.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk later about this, but we recently had an award here at MOSHAPE named after Dr. Tom Lowry. So pretty cool. Guy, let's kind of fast forward here. You know, we just talked about May. Summertime starts rolling around, and you and I are both hosting 2 separate shows. So I'm going to let you kind of talk about your show first, the Zag Talk podcast, right? And it had a huge impact, not only on you, but us at MOSHAPE, sponsorships, just so many things, right? For those that don't know, that show started actually because of a zagging concept, right? And you had a book, you had a master class for those that wanted to learn how to do what we do. And then you fast forward now. I mean, Guy, you and I have been doing this. We just talked about this on the phone. 5 years together, 4 years with me in the role of chair of marketing communications, and you shifted to 2 different roles, director of digital media and promotions, and then you moved into the executive committee. What did the Zag Talk podcast, what was the impact of that, not only for you, but for everyone involved?
Well, Chris, it really is this simple. Fundamentally, we were looking for a platform that we could have live interaction. And I came up with the idea, again, zagging was already known at that point. My book was out. It's all about advocacy, in case you don't know. But the Zag Talk Podcast Live gave us a forum that we could use, sponsored by MOSHAPE. Even Shape America has sponsored it at times. You know, and so it just allowed us to jump into conversations because we stream it on YouTube and we can stream it to multiple channels simultaneously. But what eventually did is it just built up a national audience. And the best part about it is it gives us opportunities. And Chris, come on back, because I need to say this because you were part of it. And that is, Chris, then, you know, you got to remember when we launched it, we were doing like Black History Month. We were doing Women's History Month to start, right? Because we're like, hey, these are conversations. These are people that we want to honor. We want to honor people in our own state. And you were part of that. That's the other thing. It's not even that I even have to host it, right? There have been a couple of times I didn't host it. But why we needed it, because we knew the podcast forum would allow live interaction, because it's live, real-time interaction, just like Abby did. She could put a shout out or she could ask a question. And that live interaction has been a very dynamic piece, and it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And then when we were able to offer that to our sponsorship packages, particularly the gold and the platinum level, and then what got to happen is within 14 days of our convention, all of those sponsors, we hosted a show where they just didn't talk about their products and their services. They got a chance to tell their why. They got a chance to talk about the advocacy work that they're doing on the front lines on our behalf and how they're trying to make our lives easier. So that's been the impact of that. And Chris, I'm leaving you with this one last story from it. Because of having that experience in doing it, just 3 months ago with Missouri Healthy Schools, I was able to be in a meeting with Laura Beckman and with the CDC nationally. We meet with them once a month for every Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month. And they asked us, do you have anything new on the horizon? And we pitched this idea of doing a podcast, because I could take the data of what we did and what we know. And now Missouri Healthy Schools has what's called MHS Cast. It's our own podcast. And again, this is actually being supported by the CDC through Missouri Healthy Schools. And the topics that we talk about: trauma-informed mental health, Diabetes Awareness Month, talking about diabetes management. And then the last one, Laura will talk about this, is how we just, when I say we, Missouri Healthy Schools, in partnership, with MOSHAPE, she just gave away $60,000 to 22 schools in our state. And we were able to have that podcast and talk about it. So Chris, the podcast, the Zag Talk podcast, the impact of it, look where it's growing, and look how, like Tom said, how we're growing upward and outward. And that podcast is a great example of how we were able to take it upward and outward now, even with Missouri Healthy Schools being supported by the CDC.
Awesome, Guy. Thank you for sharing that feedback. And, you mentioned some things that we've done together. I've hosted a couple of those podcasts for you. And one thing that was really cool for me this year, we're talking about June now, we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of the year, right? Where things start getting hard. And speaking of which, how is this girl doing this? She is backstage of our show right now and on YouTube at the same time. Abigail Lingle says Missouri is the best. Oh, Abigail, you're the best. So I just saw her in the green room get really excited that I said she's the best. She doesn't realize I can see her. But anyways, we're kind of moving on here. The convention's coming around, and real quickly, Guy, we did the Sharing Our Story sneak peek show. I kind of ran that show. It's something you and I started back with Dr. Patrick Fine's presidency, right? We had the Level Up 2021 sneak peek, where we interviewed special guests, whether they were presenters at our upcoming convention or not sponsors in 2021, right? But now in 2022, we kind of shifted gears, right? We added that and sponsors. We had the 6-second bumpers. We had the end plates. And Guy, I just want to say, we're not going to get into super details about that now, because we're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate everything you did for me to help me with that show. And I'm really excited to see where our time, our legacy 2023 sneak peek show leads to. We might have to look at finding up a cool little twist on that hashtag, coming up with 2 hashtags though. But going into June, and I'm going to bring Tom in here again, all right, because we had a busy June for you two. We had the SAM Leadership Conference in June, and then the sponsorship started flowing in for both of you. Let's talk about the SAM Leadership Conference first in June. Guy, talk to the audience a little bit about what the SAM Leadership Group is and what that conference was like for you.
Well, actually, let me defer that to Tom to give the background of SAM, and then I can speak to it, because Tom is really the one that's been part of that group for quite some time, and I'll let him speak to that, then I can jump in after that.
Thanks, Guy. And SAM is an acronym for the Society of Association Managers. And it basically involves the executive directors from each of the 50 states. Plus, we invite the president-elect each year so that they have a training session and are able to work with and interact with all other state president-elects. This is generally a very strong, powerful 2 days, very packed with great information for both Guy and I. We enjoyed a little tour of Portland, Maine. I had a little lobster roll and lobster bisque and things like that. But it's an intense but positive event. And I think Guy and I came out of there feeling we're doing things pretty well in Missouri.
Of course. And Guy, kind of share your experience there at the SAM Leadership Conference.
Yeah, it was kind of twofold, just like Shape America National Conferences for me, right? Part of me was there. I was given the opportunity to do 2 sessions with Tom. One of them was, again, about our media, but really how we use it from a PR standpoint. So I had a chance to talk about that. But the one that Tom and I really led a new discussion in was that we previewed our sponsorships. You got to remember, like, we had just launched and we were just got some early commitments and we just got some video bumpers out. And it was just fascinating to see the reaction of all the executive directors and as well as the president-elects that were there, as we had a chance to really, show a preview of what's going on, and also to show them, hey, these are things that you could consider that you can do. So that was really cool. The other part of it is just from a learning standpoint, Chris, I got to tell you, I got to tip my hat off to the planning team. Because I got to attend so many sessions as the president-elect. One of the things I found most rewarding was learning how to run board meetings, learning how to, really understand your role as the president when you step in. And that is really the biggest thing, is to listen and get your board engaged and get your board flowing with ideas. And that's something that was just so enriched to me. And more importantly, how do you do that? And how do you empower really your like in our case, our committee chairs? And anyways, that was really invaluable to have that training. So like I said, it was twofold for me. On one hand, it was great that I can share the cool stuff that we do in Missouri, but on the other hand, I was there to learn and also the networking. I networked with so many folks from all over the country that I can, really call friends or text to or call out to.
Awesome. So the SAM Leadership Conference, there's some great things coming forward with that. We're still talking about the June summertime, and Guy, you and Doc were really busy as you guys launched this new sponsorship level package, right? There's the platinum levels and all that. So let's talk a little bit about the sponsorships. That was a huge deal for 2022, something brand new. Guy, you've already touched a little bit about how Shape NOLA kind of set the tone for that, but kind of just in 1 or 2 minutes here, tell the audience, like, you don't have to go into detail of how it came to fruition, but what was the most exciting thing about the sponsorships to you?
The most exciting was the initial feedback when Ann and I had all the meetings. Our first 8 meetings, all 8 of those meetings, everyone wanted platinum. There's 4 things that come with platinum. Number 1 is obviously you're going to get signage throughout the convention. That's a no-brainer. Anyone can do that in the program as well. Number 2, you also get the thank you, V card at the end of every video that we do. Number 3, this was really huge, and this was doing that 6-second video bumper. So everyone understands what I'm talking about. It's just like the YouTube ads that you see when you watch YouTube. And so that we started every one of our videos with their ad. So in June, if you didn't ever heard of like Fit and Fun Playscapes, by the time convention ran around, they're a household name, right? And then we went to in the gold package where you could then be part of a broadcast on our Zag Talk podcast live. So we had 8 of those, and they went all very well. And what was cool about it, because of the timing, it was right before convention, and it really gave a chance for our audience for those sponsors to connect in meaningful ways to our audience. And then the last thing is going to be the videos. And a great example of these, what we call these sponsorship advocacy videos is the video we just released today on MOSHAPE. We just did one with Johnson Health Tech, Johnson Fitness and Wellness. They were one of our platinum sponsors. And what was cool about that is we were able to show how they were using advocacy through building stronger communities. And so they did an install right here in our backyard in St. Louis at the Recplex. And the Recplex was generous enough to let us come in and film. And we got a chance to put out an advocacy story that we just launched today. And you'll see about 6 more videos coming within January and February for those remaining sponsors. So that part of it, Chris, that's never been done before. Where we're collaborating here as MOSHAPE, we're leveraging our strengths in telling stories through videos and then working on those stories together so our sponsors can really share their story the way they want. And that's what's been really cool about something we've never done before, which really amped up, our ability to generate a lot more money than we ever could have expected. And we are so grateful and thankful that we had these sponsors in 2022 step out and trust us with these things that we were doing that has never been done in the history of the HPE profession that I'm aware of when it comes to monetizing your media.
Yeah, and Doc, real quickly, what was you've been our executive director for a long time, and this is new to you. What was your favorite or most eye-opening experience with the sponsorship packages?
Well, the connections. One of the things we did at the convention, we sponsored a special breakfast for the sponsors. That was my contribution. I paid for that, and we were able to get feedback from them and develop closer relationships. So that's the necessary thing. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to fast forward here a little bit. Doc, thank you for joining us. We'll bring you on here at the end of the show. So, Guy, we're fast forwarding here. We're moving pretty quickly. You work directly with Mo Healthy Schools as well. Laura Beckman was not able to join us tonight. She had some other things she had to attend to. So, Guy, Mo Healthy Schools Year 4 celebration in June. Kind of talk to the audience about that, and then kind of segue into the new incentive with Health Moves Minds and Mo Healthy Schools.
Yeah. So, Chris, what was so exciting about it is it's our chance to celebrate that, everything that was done. There was reports that were given. And what was great about that is that was ending year 4. And again, the key performance indicators that, Laura and her team, I don't do anything with that part of it. I just obviously run the media part of it. But anyways, the performance index and the performance reports were just the best we've ever seen. And the work that, our schools that we sponsor are doing. And anyways, what came out of that, though, was one school district had said to us that they wanted to see MOSHAPE get involved in doing some trainings. And Tom can actually speak to that now that Laura's not here. But you're going to see us working on some regional training on how we can better equip our physical educators, in more rural areas. So that was one big thing that came out of it. And the other thing just recently, and this was launched at convention, and Laura was there, during the opening general session. She got a chance to talk about how her and Christy Berry and Kyle Salvo, who oversee and are the coordinators of our Health Moves Minds program, there was funding available. And so we were able to, Laura was actually able to give out, 11 scholarships to 11 different schools to jump on board for that. And then on a parallel path, she also led a session with Sherry Beeler, which I already talked about how we featured that as a podcast on Missouri Healthy Schools. But what was great about that is 11 schools received funding. Again, over $30,000 was given out. And for both camps, we just had the onboarding meetings. And so you'll start seeing them actually starting to do things in February. I'm sure we'll probably give some preliminary reports, but it's just exciting to know that Missouri Healthy Schools was able to give out over $60,000 from support from the CDC to support initiatives like social and emotional learning and well-being through Health Moves Minds, as well as on the other side, CSPAP, which is what Sherry Beeler, who's also one of our board, on the board of directors. But Sherry is basically our person who's our lead trainer. and facilitator for that. So it's just so exciting, for us to be able to be, funding scholarships to 22 schools as they are involved in either the House Moves Minds or the CSPAP, which is your comprehensive physical activity program, and it's comprehensive school physical activity program. And it's just really exciting to see that we're, again, in Missouri, leading the charge in that area. We're very fortunate to have leaders like Laura Beckman and Tom working together and collaborating between Missouri Healthy Schools and certainly, with MOSHAPE. So it's just real exciting what we're doing right now. And that all kicked off at convention.
Awesome. And Guy, we'll talk to you here pretty soon as we are getting close to the end of our show here. So Guy, thank you for talking to us so much, and we'll talk to you here in a little bit. So this is my favorite part of the year, right? Everybody asks, Chris, what is your favorite part of being the chair of marketing communications and the director of social media for MOSHAPE? And I said, it's simple. The teachers of the year, getting to interview them. And so this year we were very fortunate. We had a lot of people recognized. We had Christy Spears, who was the West Central Elementary District Teacher of the Year. Nicole Miller, St. Louis Elementary District Teacher of the Year. We had Courtney Hydorn, who is the St. Louis Middle School Teacher of the Year. We had Danielle O'Neill, who is our Elementary State Teacher of the Year. Megan Baker, who is our Middle School State Teacher of the Year. And then we had Terry O'Leary, who was our State Teacher of the Year at the high school level. And I am very, very honored to bring on Terry O'Leary to our show, who was our State High School Physical Education Teacher of the Year. Terry, how are you doing this evening?
I'm great, Chris. So thankful to have you or be invited on the show.
Of course. Like, you're an awesome interview, and I brought you on for a very special reason, right? And we just found out recently some very exciting news. You were named the SHAPE Central District High School Physical Education Teacher of the Year, and you are one of 5 finalists for the National High School Physical Education Teacher of the Year. Congratulations on behalf of myself and everybody in Missouri. I'll go ahead and take everybody. What did that mean to you when you were named Central District High School Teacher of the Year?
Oh my gosh, I was blown away. Like, first of all, I was teaching all morning, and so I hadn't had a chance to check my email, so I didn't know. And all of a sudden, my phone, Twitter, starts blowing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is, like sneak a look at my phone, because I'm always telling my kids to be off their phone, and all of a sudden, like, my phone's blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I won. And I texted my curriculum coordinator. I'm like, hey, Eddie, like, it looks like I won. And he goes, really? That's how you found out? And I'm like, I guess so. Twitter just told me. So yeah, I found out on Twitter, and I was blown away. It was so exciting. I don't think I got anything else done the rest of the day, because all I was doing was like looking at tweets and, showing my kids. I'm like, guess what? My students were so excited, and it was great. It was awesome. That is
awesome. Now you know what it's like to be Chris Stehle trying to run MOSHAPE's Twitter account in the school day. So now you know. This is an awesome journey for you. And I have a little fun plug that I'm going to throw in here in a minute that you're not expecting. But what do you think? And this is your chance, right? I mean, I know you. You're a very humble person. You're always giving credit to Eddie. Eddie Madison is a great guy. Us at MOSHAPE love Eddie. And you give credit to all of your students and your cooperating teachers and all your administration. Terry, this is your chance. What do you think makes you so special? What do you do that you think just puts you over the top? I know this is a tough question, right? But we talked a little bit about before the show, and I think you have some great points.
Well, I mean, I'm just a huge outdoor education believer. I think the more that I can get my kids to enjoy and love being out in nature, like, the better. So anytime I hear something like back in May, I don't know how many people knew, but archery was named the Missouri official state sport. And so I have my BAI, my basic archery instructor certification. So I started working with the Missouri Conservation Department. I'm like, hey, did you guys just hear? And they're like, well, yeah. And so we started looking for some grant opportunities. So then I was able to write 2 grants and get all new archery equipment for my students. So we started a national or a competitive archery team this year. So that's been like super exciting. So anything I can do like to get my kids excited about being outside and doing something new. I mean, that's what I love to do. And I think that's what my kids appreciate so much is just like trying new things and being able to have an opportunity like that. So it's fun.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about the show, and you don't have to go into too many details if you don't want to. But well, Guy just commented on YouTube, and I'm not going to post it on the screen yet because that's part of the next question. You've been working on some grants, right? Talk to the audience a little bit about that.
Well, so I just got those 2 archery grants when I heard about archery becoming our Missouri state sport. But so the next big endeavor I'm writing a $50,000 tech innovation grant for physical education. And this company is so excited that a PE teacher is wanting technology money like for their school. So I don't know if I want to like give it all away and stuff, but basically they said I had to be something I did already and that tech made it cooler. And that's what gets the grant. And so I'm excited. I'm trying to build an orienteering course on my campus with the latest and greatest innovative technology. And I'm working with my math department who they teach coordinate geometry, and they're going to help me like set the course up with coordinate geometry. So math will come out and use it. And then we'll do a little vector addition, get those physics kids out there. So science is going to come out and use it. And then we're going to have like mobile units, and we'll send them to our middle school and our elementary school so they can teach them how to use it, and then bring them out to the course with their families and like just bring everybody out to the outdoors and do like a big orienteering race or meet or some like just big build up like that. So that's my goal. That's my plan. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, Terry, I was going to ask you to give some advice to other teachers around the state, but I think you just gave it. Just go out and do it and advocate for yourself. And Terry, 2 quick shout outs. It's crazy how the people that are backstage to our show right now are the ones posting on our YouTube channel. Guy says, congratulations, Terry, as you continue to make yourself better and advocate for outdoor education. He also said, congratulations on receiving 2 grants that support your students. And finally, we're so proud of you, Terry, as you collaborate with other disciplines to help students through technology. Terry, I agree. In the short time I've known you, I felt like I've known you forever. It's so funny how the story works. When I first interviewed you, you had no idea you won State Teacher of the Year. You were doing other things, and then same thing with Central District. So maybe at Shape Seattle this year, I need to pull you away from the stage so you don't know that you won. That's good luck for you, is not knowing that you won. And Abigail Lingle says, I think we need a follow-up video on how amazing this archery course will be. Hey, here's the deal. Terry, I'll make a deal with you. When you get that grant, I will drive the 3.5 hours to you and the Guy will drive the 20 minutes for him, whatever it is. And we are going to film an awesome On the Move episode with you. Terry, just congratulations from all of us at MOSHAPE. We're pushing for you to win that national award. And regardless, we know you deserve it. And whatever happens, we congratulate you, and we're super proud of you. And, one last thing, I've got to ask you this because we never talked about this real briefly. You actually have a connection with our 2022 National Teacher of the Year, Paulo Ribeiro. What is that connection, Terry?
Paulo was my student teacher.
That is incredible. I don't know if Guy or Tom or Eddie, I know I knew because you told me that before I interviewed him first time. And
yes.
When I found that out, that is incredible. So last thing, what makes you more proud? Him winning National Teacher of the Year or you being nominated? Be honest, because that's
Oh.
your student teacher, right?
His winning really made me proud because, I mean, I kind of like to go, oh, that's my baby. Like that's, he learned from the best, right? No, I'm just teasing. But he was so awesome as a student teacher. And then for him to get a job in Parkway where I saw him work all the time. I mean, Paulo's amazing. So I'm just so proud of him. And it's like that proud mama moment, right?
Of course. I still think you should get a little piece of his plaque there. And but Terry, congratulations. We're watching, we'll be there and supporting you. And regardless what happens, you're the best and we love you. And we'll talk to you here in a few moments. All righty.
Thanks so much.
Of course. So as we move on to our show here, Guy says you are such a class act, Terry, as you took Paulo under your wings. That is very true. Paulo did actually, when I interviewed him last year, he gave a lot of credit to Terry, who was his cooperating teacher during student teaching. So we're going to move forward here as now we're looking into 2023, right? We've talked about the convention. Terry was just recently named our Central District High School Teacher of the Year. So now let's talk about kind of what happened in November, but what's going to happen in 2023. And first and foremost, we have a very special guest. You've already seen her, so it's like, it was a little sneak peek, right? She is our future president here at MOSHAPE. I can't introduce her properly. She's done so much for not only us at Missouri, but Central District and Shape America. She's been our president before. She's coming back for the 2024 convention and year. Our very own Julie Lukanoff. Julie.
Hi, Chris.
It's this. My heart's beating right now.
Hey, one thing I want to say, Terry, enjoy the process. When you're going through that, when you're going through all those interviews and all that, enjoy the process. It is so much fun.
Well, I'll ask Terry later off air if it's actually really fun. That's a lot of, but no, Julie, for sure. Yeah, Terry, enjoy it. Julie, this is a really special moment for me, right? Because you're one of those people I look up to a lot, right? Professionally, you are one of my idols, but also in my heart, you're one of my good friends. And that's a great thing about MOSHAPE is we can look up to each other in the professional world, but love each other as friends. And I want to formally congratulate you for the first time on air for being named our 2023 president-elect and our 2024 president. What was your reaction when you found out on the banquet Saturday night that you were named the president-elect?
Well, I think it's such an honor. It's a big honor to be voted by your peers to lead your state. I've always been very proud of Missouri and MOSHAPE, and I've stayed involved because of that. Even though I've been retired for a few years, I've always stayed involved because I feel that it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, where you're at in your career, you have something to offer to people. And that's what I just am very honored that the members of MOSHAPE chose me to be their president-elect. And I take it very seriously. And I'm very excited, very excited.
Well, Abigail Lingle, who will be on here shortly, a little sneak peek, gave you a shout out. And Guy, who is our president, says Julie's taken me under her wings during our 2023 convention. She's the most organized person I know. Speaking of 2023 convention, real briefly for our members, Julie, just obviously you have plans for 2024 as president, but what are your plans for this upcoming year as our president-elect?
Well, I want to be involved as much as I can, work with Guy, work with the future professionals, work with Abby and Ethan to be able to get anyone and everyone involved. I think that regardless of where you live, that there is an opportunity for you to give of yourself to MOSHAPE. And I think that is very, very important. It's kind of funny. Guy says he's taken me under his wing. Yeah, right. Okay. But I'm very, very excited to get things going. I know actually in February we will head to the Leadership Summit and the Speak Out Day, which is going to be in person this year. So I'm very, very excited about that. And just to be able to, I want to bring some of our members back to attending the conference. I think we put on a good conference every year. I think we put a great conference on. When you compare it to states or, I think we have one of the top ones, and I want our members to take full advantage of what MOSHAPE offers to its members. And I want them to come back and experience the convention again.
And Julie, we talked a little bit about the show, and Laura Beckman obviously isn't able to join us. She had some other things she had to take care of. Kind of talk to, the audience about what the plans were there. You and Laura were talking a little bit about before the show. I don't want to spoil it, so go ahead and.
Well, I have started working with the Missouri Coordinated School Health Coalition, and we always have they have a yearly conference, and actually it is going to be February 22nd through the 24th. It is going to be down at the Lodge of Four Seasons, and our board has put together a great list of presenters. We actually have several MOSHAPE members who are presenting at our conference. And if you are interested, you can contact me, julielukanoff@gmail.com, or you can go to healthykidsmo.org, and the registration information is all there. That if you would like to attend, we would love for you to attend and be there with us.
Awesome. And Julie, I'm going to keep you on the screen because I'm going to slowly bring people back on. But before I bring the next guest on, I know the story. We all know the story. Guy says you make the best guacamole on the planet. So we know what's happening the next time we all get together. You're making some guacamole. And somehow I was able to get on YouTube and say you rock. So I just want to let you know that you rock from the virtual world. So yes, of course. I figured since everybody else is in the green room going on YouTube commenting, we're going to bring on another special guest here. She was on earlier as well. And Julie, you mentioned her a little bit. This girl is like my little sister, right? I'm trying to raise her the right way. She started as a little pup, and now she's starting to grow a little bit, but she's part of the media team, but she's got a lot of roles. It's our very own Abigail Lingle, and she is Abby. I don't know how to state all your roles. You work with MOSHAPE's media team. You're part of Shape America leadership as well with that group, which I'll ask you about here in a second. But also, you are our new future professional president. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really quickly, explain to the audience your role at the national level of Shape America, is I think a lot of people don't really know about it, or they just, I just share with our MOSHAPE audience what that is.
Yeah, so the national level, I am a student leader for Shape America's undergraduate student leadership networking. And what this is we are a group of undergraduate students that meet about the third Thursday of every single month. And it's just a big platform across the nation where we have some professors who come and speak, or teachers, retired teachers. They just come and educate us on some things that we are more interested in. Like recently, we just had a session all about grants and how to apply for them is one of the topics that will be coming up, and also student teaching and some questions to prepare us for it. So it's really just a great platform that I love being a part of, that is there for just undergraduate students from across the nation to ask more questions and have them answered.
Awesome. And, you've been working with the MOSHAPE board for 2 years now, because as you were the future professional president-elect, you kind of got to see how things were. We already know, you and Guy have already made it well known, not only from St. Louis to Kansas City to Springfield to Joplin, but you've let it known from Hawaii to Maine that you two are working together, right? What are you most excited for with 2023?
Oh my gosh. I think one of the most things I'm excited for 2023 is the power that us future professionals are going to have and the say that Guy allows me to have for this convention. Like most of the time, it's usually like the MOSHAPE president is mentoring the future professional and just like kind of telling them what's going on. But with Guy, he has allowed me to have a say and have a voice in anything that's going on. And he has preached that to me since day one, that future professionals' voice matters, and he is supporting me in anything and everything, and it allows me to support all my other future professionals below me. So I think that's one thing that I am super excited for come convention of 2023 is just the support future professionals are going to have and the say that we have to make the future what we want it to be.
Awesome. And thank you so much. And Abby, we're really excited to see what 2023 brings for you. You're wrapping up your college career. You're ramping up your professional career. And I know you, Julie, and our next guest that we're bringing back on is going to do a lot of great things. Look at this, Chris Stehle. How is he hosting a show and on YouTube? He said Abigail rocks as well. And then, of course, Guy Danhoff says Abigail is changing the game in Missouri as our future professional president. Well, Guy, instead of commenting on YouTube, how about you just jump back onto the show, my friend, as our 2023 president, Guy Danhoff. We're on the man. We are like literally 27 hours away from 2023. You've been our president for a little over a month now. Guy, again, congratulations on being named our president. We're really excited to see what this team of you, Abigail, and Julie accomplish as you and Abigail are our presidents this year and Julie in 2024. Guy, the floor is yours, man. We've got 13 minutes till we reach an hour and a half on the show. I'm going to give you the floor, man. Just kind of tell the audience what we're looking forward to in 2023. Thank who you want to, and the floor is yours, my man.
Thank you, Chris. And, I want to start with this. And Chris, actually go back to the full screen because I just want to illustrate something. This is what I'm talking about. The fact that Abigail is not just on the screen. Chris, she's speaking, she's talking, she has the microphone. Julie, I'm not kidding. You are the most organized person that I know. You have been, and that's been your reputation. And I'm not kidding. I am going to be learning a lot from you, especially when you talked about that big matrix board that you have from your last presidency on organizing our session. So no, that is the truth. But what I'm so excited about, Chris, is here it is, right? Here it is. We have Julie on. We have Abby on. We'll bring Tom back in just a little bit. We are a family. First and foremost, we are a family. We like to have a lot of fun. We love and genuinely care for one another. That's what makes this work. That's why I'm here. That is part of the reason why I ran to be president, because I care about our profession, but I also care about the people that I get to work with this upcoming year. And I've got to work with, in the past few years, but Chris, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I'm going to keep it under a minute. Here's my presidential message, if you would, heading into 23. We just have a few initiatives. Number one, we are going to grow our membership, as Julie said. That is priority number one. We've already been working with Mary Dreemeyer, who is the guru of gurus of gurus when it comes to technology. And we're going to be doing some cool things when the renewal process kicks in. And all of us are going to be part of that initiative as we, ramp up our campaign to get our membership strong. Number two is funding. Chris, we've been talking all day long in this podcast about funding, the funding opportunities. We're going to Speak Out Day. We're working with our legislators. We're working with the grants. We're working with folks like, Missouri Healthy Schools through CDC funding. Chris, we are maximizing our funding opportunities. We reimagine the way sponsorships look now, right? We talked about that. It's well documented. the impact that we've had in the sponsorships. Also, we're going to grow in our engagement. And here's the thing, and Chris, I'm not just saying this, but why I like this live forum is I want our members to get on, and I want them to jump on the chats, and I want them to jump, in the comments and ask us questions. I know this, Chris, I got one for you because you're going to be hosting it, but we are going to have a town hall for any member of MOSHAPE who wants to be on our leadership team. We have not done that. The last time that we had anything related to that was during Patrick Fine's presidency, when he did that, and he did a fantastic job with that, during the general session. But now we're just going to have an open town hall, and I want to have it before our board meeting in February, so that anyone who's interested, anyone who wants to get on this train right now, that they would have that opportunity. And I want to get every one of our chairs to speak about what they do and how they're making a difference and an impact. So Chris, you'll be hosting that, and you know that because we talked about it. The next one is advocacy. I cannot stress enough the importance of advocacy, how we're going to continue to do that through our media, through our relationships, through our connections, through our partnerships. Also professional development. There's going to be some things that we're going to be doing during board meetings, as we're going to be leveling up just our professional development, how we can just be just better at what we do. And part of that is, thank you, Abby, about, being a great mentor. But that's exactly what I'm talking about is, Chris, we have a responsibility. And I learned this at the Shape America Leadership Summit last February, is that part of our responsibilities, especially if you're on the executive committee, like Julie and I are, it's really important that we not only, continue to look for talent. It's also about developing talent, giving them the development and professional development they need, like we're doing with Abby, and then saying, hey, Abby, here are the opportunities. And guess what? Have fun. Go for it. Right. Just like she's going to do. Abby, speak to this. What was it like when, tell everyone, because I want everyone to hear this, because we believe so strongly when you asked about Speak Out Day, what my reaction was instantly. And I took a nanosecond to answer you. Tell everyone that story.
Yeah, so the story was me and Guy were just talking on the phone one day, and he brought up the comment of Speak Out Day. And it was on my mind for a while of, do future professionals get to go? Like, I'm interested. Like, is it worth a college kid going? So I asked those questions to Guy. And yeah, in 1 second, if that, he's like, yeah, you're coming. He's like, I don't care how, we'll figure out a way. He's like, you need to be there. It is extremely important in his mind that our senators and representatives and everyone gets to see that future professional get to say, like Chris was saying, I'm about ready to go out and become a teacher full time. And I already see things that I would love to see change in the profession. And like, I want to advocate for what quality physical education is. And just because I'm young doesn't mean like I can't do it. I can do it. I just had to ask the right questions and the right people. And Guy and Tom automatically in 3 days texted me, said, you're going. So I was super excited about that. But yeah, and now I'm going to Speak Out Day, so I love it.
Yeah, and Chris, I will say this: we have near matching shoes. Yes, she took the lead. I copied her, and Julie will let you see those photos.
Mine are not going to be like yours. Mine's a little different than your two pairs.
That's fine.
Yellow.
It's all good.
No, not that bright yellow.
But anyways, just two more thoughts, Chris. One of the things that we're going to do is we are going to empower our board like we've never done before, because we want your ideas. We need your ideas. We really need, part of my role in my presidency, I work for you. My job is to listen to your ideas. There's a reason why you're serving on our board. You're here because you're committed people. You love the profession and you feel you got something to offer. As our leader in 23, we are going to build our legacy because we're going to do this collectively together. That's what excites me the most. This isn't me as president or to say this is my convention. It's not my convention. It's our convention. And that's why I want to connect with as many people as possible, as many members as possible, who really see the value of what we're trying to do, the types of things that we're trying to support and fund. And like people like Terry O'Leary's story about encourager. And like we said to her, Laura Beckman threw out the fact that, hey, I'll be happy to look at your grant before you send it out. That's the type of people we are, Chris. That's what we want to do. We want to empower our people. We want to empower our teachers. We want to empower our state leaders here within MOSHAPE. And the last thing, Chris, and this is really important. This is why Abby and I collectively came up with the theme of our convention, which is our time. This is our time. As you said, in less than 20 some hours or 20, 30 hours, it will be the new year. We will be in 23. Yeah, 27. Thanks. In 27 hours, it will be the new year. And we will be reigning big on our time, our legacy. And our legacy part comes from this. For those of you who don't know, and this is the only sad part I'm going to talk about, is our amazing executive director, Tom Lowry. This will be his last convention as an official capacity as our executive director. And so Abby and I thought it would only be fitting if in our title, not only is this our time, of course, the urgency, but also that we're building our legacy that Tom, for each and every one of us, has spent time with. Like Abby talked about how she got to spend that time traveling with Tom, learning from Tom. Julie, you've spent so much time with Tom. Chris, you and I have spent so much time with Tom. But the point is, he has trained us. He has been our mentor. He has been our guide. He has been our advocate. And he has taught us how to build our legacy, because he knew that the day would come when it would be time for him to step back, step away, and see the fruit of his labor of us building our legacy. And that's why I'm just going to say this. If you're watching from out of state, and if you'd like to attend our 23 convention, please get in touch with somebody. And of course, Chris's team will be putting out a whole lot of things about that. But we're also going to be paying tribute to Tom at our convention like you've never seen before. We're also going to be doing some things for our Teachers of the Year and our award winners that we've never done in our history, that Chris and I and Abby have been cooking up some cool things that we want to do. So all I can tell you is this is going to be building on the momentum that we've had from 21, 22, and now as we soar into 23. And so, Chris, that's really all I really want to say at this point. Just stay tuned for more updates because, for example, coming this Tuesday, we're really excited that some of us are going to be live on KMOX radio this Tuesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. And we're going to get a chance to talk more about the things that we're doing here in Missouri to advocate for our students and for our schools and the different things that we're doing as MOSHAPE, as Missouri Healthy Schools, and our partnerships with folks like Shape America, and how we're building stronger communities and how we're increasing our school wellness. And anyways, we're really excited. So stay tuned for that announcement as well, because we will be live on the KMOX At Your Service talk show hosted by Greg Damon, and we'll be on from 9 to 10 this Tuesday night.
Cool.
Guy, thank you so much. We're wrapping up the show here. Real quick, somehow Chris Stehle was able to get back on YouTube again and say Guy rocks. That guy is a magician, let me tell you. I got one closing remark here, but before I do that, I'm going to bring on all our guests that were here tonight. Anna, unfortunately, had to leave. But, Tom, you're back on, and I just want to say somehow Chris Stehle was able to get on YouTube and say Doc rocks as well. And then we got Terry O'Leary joined us as well. And it's just crazy how sneaky that guy Chris Stehle is, because he said Terry rocks as well on YouTube. It's crazy. So really quickly to our members, 2022 was a great year. I can speak on behalf of all 6 of us on the screen now and all of us at on the MOSHAPE board and all the MOSHAPE members. You guys make our lives so much fun. We work for you. Tom says it all the time. Anytime Tom introduces himself to a new group, one thing I will say, he says, my name is Tom Lowry and I work for you. And that's what we do here at MOSHAPE's board. We're just very proud of all of our members. Terry, you are one of our members that was able to join the show. And thank you so much. 2023 is going to be a great year. A lot of great things. Stay tuned as, like Guy said, on Tuesday, the KMOX radio broadcast is going out. And stay tuned as I have some very exciting news coming forward, along with Abigail Lingle, as we are going to preview possibly some shows coming up here in mid-January. So stay tuned for that. We're going to bring back something you guys may not remember since 2021, was the MOSHAPE Minute that
Yeah.
started in 2020 and 2021. That will be coming back in 2023. We'll have Our Time, Our Legacy 2023 shows. We're going to have a lot of great shows, a lot of great things. Abigail and I may be coming to visit you, so stay tuned for our possible Missouri tour. That is a very exciting time. And on behalf of myself, Guy Danhoff, Tom Lowry, Terry O'Leary, Abigail Engel, Julie Lukanoff, I am Chris Stehle. And from YouTube, I want to say Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's been a great time, and let's go into 2023 with health and happiness, and we are going to have one of the best years of our lives. Guy says from YouTube, wishing you all a healthy, happy new year. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Happy New
everybody.
Year.
See you next year.